Wait. Oh, there we go.
Do you know what's wrong with the grinder? I see no pretty ladies with eyeliner. But let me pose a reminder that here in the grinder, the respect is minor. Welcome to the salt grinder. I came up with this 1 minute ago.
Allahumma ameen, Allahumma fashhad.
We don't just make
brother,
fun of
preach it.
poetry here. We compose it too, folks.
Yes.
Yeah, the annoying part is what I see is just said is still better than that video we played.
I have
1
no
minute.
expiration date. I don't
What's
remember the
problem
next
when we
line.
take off the glasses?
I
That my eyes are
feel-
burning.
It wouldn't be poetry if you don't say "I feel" 30 times in a poem, right?
Would you rather be the screaming guy though, Trillion? What is that guy's name? Levi the poet? For anyone who's interested in looking him up, don't look him
No,
up.
Dude, like at some point poetry is like went from being an artistic form of structure, rhyme, and like flow where somebody says it and there's like a small head tilt as you're hearing the rhyme and the meanings and the symbolism to I feel and I feel, and it's just
Somewhere along the lines, poetry was lost.
Poetry was never found. I hate poetry. Sucks.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
No, I hate it.
Memorized the longest, most complicated Arabic poem as a pastime.
Wait, which one?
Okay?
Yeah.
Which one?
The sound of the balboul.
For fuck's sake.
Yes. So,
No,
like, you
I
don't
did
get
it. I did it to prove a point. I did it to prove a point. That's it. It's just I can memorize everything, anything. It's just this is my skill. This is me.
Am I the only one lagging?
Yes,
Yes,
you're
you
the
are.
only one lagging.
You're the host. That's
I
weird.
missed like the last 2 minutes of what was that.
Okay.
Wait, did the audience miss it though? That's the most important part.
That's what I'm looking at the comment section for now.
There is no comments in the comment section.
Yeah, it's pretty barren. They'll come around.
They'll
Now,
come around.
let's
This show was never about the comment section.
Fuck the
no, we
comments
have an
That's for
MVC.
sure.
No, we have an MVC. Like, you have to represent the peoples.
Yeah, the peoples.
We
Well,
are a
here's the thing.
stream of the peoples.
First thing I want to talk about, right, is Epic Games versus GOG. And the reason I want to mention this is because Epic Games has been on like a campaign to gain popularity and like gain audience from Steam, because Steam is the big guy you need to beat. And the way they've been doing this is by basically hoarding up exclusives, taking them from their Kickstarters, taking them from their developments, and everybody who was excited about them that was expecting it to be on Steam now have to go to Epic Games, and they do it very sneakily and very quickly. Before anybody notices, within a week, it's in Epic Games now. And that's a strategy to beat Steam. On the other side, on a more diplomatic front, GOG decided to launch the beta for GOG 2.0, which is basically the one launcher to rule them all. And what it does, it compiles every game you have on every launcher you can think of in one place, which is GOG, and gives you access to your entire games library on their GOG. And if you click on it, it launches the launcher and then launches the game. And based on that, what it does is pretty much bypasses any legal ramifications that any other company can say, while also giving you access to your entire library in one launcher. This doesn't give them any immediate benefit besides the fact that if people use their GOG launcher, they're more likely to look at their store. They're more likely to view it as their main. And the more they introduce features there, the more people will transition They would still have Steam because Steam is a wonderful service, but they would transition for GOG to be their main, which is a subtle, very sneaky move on GOG's front. So I'm curious what the squad here thinks of both these tactics, which is viable, which isn't. Should they do it? Which one is more likely to succeed, etc.
Let me
GOG
start
is
with this.
thinking long term, so they're probably gonna win it at the end because people like to have everything in one place.
Let me start with this. The reason Epic is doing this because at their very, very start, Epic called Steam out to reduce the amount of cut they take from the developers to the same amount that Epic takes. Like, I think Epic takes about 11% from the developers, while on the other hand, Steam takes about like a hefty
Takes
chunk
30.
of it. 30%. Yes, 30%. And Epic called Steam out. All right, let's make it all 11% or 18% or whatever, and I can give you some of my exclusive if you do that. And Steam refused. So what Epic did is it took all the exclusives. It went to indie developers. It went to they just signed an exclusive with Rocket League. They signed an exclusive with a lot of big name companies. Borderlands. Yes, they took Rocket League. Yes, and they took Borderlands, and they took everything. They just took everything, just to. This is their like checkmate to Steam. Make your cut less. We will release our exclusives. Basically, it's just a lot of people think that way. Think that Epic is evil. What I think is Epic is just calling Steam out, maybe in a unorthodox way, very evil way, but still, I think they have the consumer in mind. It's very naive of me to say that, but I think it's what they're doing. And if you go for the background of Tim Sweeney, he's always about the people. And I first time I hear a CEO with the name Tim. He's not evil. His name is Tim. How evil can Tim be?
Well, hold on. Isn't the Apple CEO's name Tim? Tim Cook?
Tim Apple.
Cook.
His name is Tim Apple.
Tim Apple.
Tim.
Anyways, I don't think Epic is going for helping the consumer. The consumer won't be affected. I don't think it's the developer that will be getting more money from more cut. But I like what they're doing. We no longer have the whole one tyrant. Oh, look at this guy. Look at this dude. Look at this guy. Yeah, we don't have the one tyrant mentality where your only option is Steam. If you want your games to be sold, you have to go to Steam and pay whatever they want. And the consumer will go to Steam because that's where everything is. And oh, look, every year we get a whole bunch of sales, yippee. Even though the sales mostly negatively affect the developers, Steam still takes its cut, always. So I support Epic on their journey, even though it's... when I think about it at the end, I still like the whole thing of having all of my games in one place, which is again why I think GOG will win at the end, when more and more people like convert to that. So that's what I think about that.
Babushka, say hi, and you know already the topic, so you can give your take on that if you want. If you want to wait, that's fine.
Yo, when did this dude get here? What?
He was here and everywhere and there from the very start till the very beginning till the very end.
Look at this guy's hair. What the fuck is that, dude?
He sneaks in.
Yes.
I am fucking everywhere. I'm fast as fuck, but my PC is not complying with me. That's it.
You know, as
internet's not complying with me right now.
As a babushka, you should always show up with like as like a plate of cookies. Otherwise, I will not recognize you as a babushka. You need to update your
Stop
game.
honey cake. Pyrogi.
Yes. Yes. We demand cookies.
Pierogi. Perniek
You are
bi.
encouraging him, Trillion. Stop this bullying now.
No. Aziz lost weight since last time. We need to fix that. Okay? That's a
Yes.
problem.
Fix my weight, please.
Wait, wait.
Okay. So,
120, Aziz.
We will not have fat shaming in this stream. We are
What's the problem with
progressive.
fat shaming? It's
Though there's,
fun.
in truth, there's no problem with it, but we have to keep we have to keep Susan happy.
Susan
yeah.
Winiski.
Susan would suck my ball sack.
No. We'll hate on Susan later, okay? Back to the topics. GOG and Epic Games. Okay, let's do this.
Okay. So let's just get to this. Steam, okay, it has a lot of sales. It has a lot of stuff. GOG, I didn't see them doing anything lately, other than just putting or charging for old ass games like Prince of Persia and other old Ubisoft games. Which
They are GOG at the end.
I mean, Steam did that like years ago, and GOG are just adding games like Nintendo. Oh, nostalgia factor, fully charging them and shit. So I don't see anything new about GOG. Like Steam is still the superior game launcher and fucking store out there.
What about Epic Games?
Oh fuck Epic Games. Fuck them.
Okay, you took the stance of you're being too aggressive and I hate it.
I think he just took the stance of Fortnite.
I think he's just
Exactly.
mad, yeah, that Fortnite
I mean-
has taken over, and
Oh,
it's still
by the
not
way-
dead yet, even though it should be.
No, Fortnite lost 76% of its people and revenue from last year.
It's because of Apex.
76%.
What can I say?
Apex.
Let's not talk about Apex, who lost 80%. So let's not talk about
Se-
Apex.
Season 2,
Guys,
July 2nd,
Fallout
folks.
76 has
Season
Battle
2, July
Royale.
2nd.
Dude,
It's called
all these
Battle
battle
Charge,
royales
guys,
are
season
dying.
2.
All these battle royales games are dying. It's the worst genre of all times. I did not know how bad battle royales are until I played Spellbreak. Spellbreak is the superior battle royale of all. It's visually appealing. It has gauntlets, for God's sake. You wear a freaking ice and wind gauntlet and you shoot yourself in the air and you snipe the people with your ice gauntlet. The mechanics are so much fun and fluid. But what makes this game suck is the battle royale system. Like, how boring is the battle royale? Like, people, battle royale suck. It's the worst genre of all time. It's the genre of streamers and kids. It's not good. It's
I
bad.
just want to point out that Fortnite had gauntlets too. Thanos. Shut the fuck up.
Thanos.
Let me
just
point out that
event.
none of
2 week
you
event, best
have
2 weeks of
addressed
my
the
whole life.
greatest. None of
Dude,
you have
Rainbow
addressed the
Six Siege.
greatest battle royale of all time, though. Tetris battle royale.
Oh, that
Tetris
is the
Battle
truth.
Oh yes.
No joke.
Nothing beats Tetris Battle Royale. This is the best Battle Royale. Do you know
Dude,
what's the
Tetris
best
Battle Royale
Royale?
sounds like a name for an epidemic. It's just weird.
But you know what I mean? Like, you're not looking in the right place. Like, if you go on one bad date, do you hate all women or do you just hate that particular woman?
I hate all women. I hate all women.
Think of-
no need for dude. No need. Hating women does not need a bad date. Every woman is evil. Every woman is bad.
Doesn't
This
your
is-
wife watch this stream?
My wife watches the stream. My mother watches the stream. My sister watches the stream.
Why does
Every
your mother? Wait.
she follow me. Oh, my children on the internet. This is very funny.
Famous man, influencer.
Influencer.
Are you kidding me? If my mom watched my stream, she'd come in the room and smack me.
The women are bad, all of them combined. But
Yes.
Do you know why you cannot leave women? You cannot go away because you will be gay. Otherwise,
He got that one right.
Aziz has been participating too much in MGTOW philosophy lately. Been watching too many videos, man. It's a cesspool. I understand. You can get lost in it. I've lost
been
many
locked.
great men like that.
Dude, I've been locked into my house for 2 weeks, broke as shit, waiting for the job, and have no money. I've been locked in here for 2 weeks, and that was way too long of a time.
But has your wife made you a home cooked meal lately? That
Yes,
is
yes.
the question.
Yeah, always. Dude, our woman is not like your American woman who take your 50% after divorce. No, they don't take shit, and they make us meals. That's fine.
Yeah, what are our women trying to do? They're trying to work. What the hell is that? Trying to make something of their lives. What is that shit?
The first
Go
thing my
breastfeed a
wife told
baby or
me.
something.
The first thing my wife told me after like as soon as you're gonna get a job, I either gonna quit my job or take a very light one. Women pay gap, huh? Am I right? The first thing she said is, "I'm gonna take a light job or quit my job because I had a job." Like it's why would you do that? Yeah, I need.
I don't get what exactly. I don't get what they're complaining about.
Yeah,
Think about
exactly.
it. You can just take the rest of your life off.
Yeah, and women in the Arab land, oh, you can just imagine your job is to sit at home, be lazy, maybe 1 hour clean the house and do the hardest thing of all time, wash clothes. It's so hard. You have to carry all the clothes, dump them inside the washing machine, and press a button. Oh, it's so hard.
No, you didn't get to the
You
hardest
should
part though.
work
The
in the store
dryer.
I'm working in. You fucking respect cleaning. Spending
You have
2
to
hours
wait.
cleaning. You die inside.
I mean,
dude. No.
washing clothes.
You're not like living on the river and washing the clothes beside the river and carrying all these on your head, walking like this. No, you're just dumping them into machines. Technology do your job.
Who pays
Yeah.
for the machine? Us.
Me.
Me. I pay for the machine.
To be honest, I got it as a gift.
This stream
In
is
the
getting.
back, we get cups for gifts.
Hold
not
on,
machines.
Trillion. This is important. You are forgetting the most important and strenuous part of washing and drying clothes, which is the drying phase. You have to wait an hour for it to dry, and then you have to get it out of the drying machine, and it's often hot.
Spicy.
You may burn yourself.
Oh,
It's
this
super hot.
stream is such a sausage fest right now. I'm feeling violated. Okay.
The reason I said the reason I said there are no women with eyeliner. It's true. Like, look at these faces. It's like,
Do you want me to check the analytics for this stream live? I will tell you how many women have ever watched this stream.
please.
If it's more than 3, I'll be impressed.
That I think the 3 are my wife, my sister, and
my
my
wife.
mother.
For 1 second.
If there are extra, you know where they came from. No, it's not. It's not. Okay.
So on Epic Games,
Yes. A topic worse than woman. Let's talk about it.
no, I want to remind people this: Steam is very, very pro-consumer, which is great, but they're very anti-developer. They're very anti-developer. They take 30% off their games. They make sales all the time, which reduces the revenue of their games for the developers. They do not. They allow other people's, like other launcher titles, to have their games on Steam, but they don't allow it the other way around. Basically, effectively, not participating and having a cooperation between the launchers and having people pick. You either choose Steam or you choose nothing else. Furthermore, most games that are free to play don't have Steam as their primary platform, because with that 30% hit on their microtransactions and their skin purchases and all that, that's just too much lost revenue to warrant the exposure. And every step of the imagination, Steam is just making it very hard for developers to do their jobs. Let's not. I forgot to mention the refund policy. The fact that you can play 2 hours and then refund it, which is great, consumer amazing, but for
Which
developers,
is 1 hour, not 2 hours, actually.
yep. But for developers, that's a scary thing, right? So, Epic Games is trying to make a move for that, right? They're trying to be like, okay, we want to have people migrate to our place because we make money there. We don't lose 30% of our revenue. We can't put our shit on Steam. If we put it, we die. So based on that, they're trying to have people migrate over. There's a problem, though. The problem is that Epic Games doesn't have that friendly UI and friendly user options that Steam has. Steam has so many user-friendly options, it's almost impossible for any other launcher to compete effectively, right? It's that much of a disadvantage from the start. So even if you change to Epic Games as your main launcher, you'll suffer. Right?
Epic Games does not have the release dates on their upcoming games. It's just, it's coming soon.
Yeah, they don't have shit. They don't have shit.
Epic Games are suffering even security-wise. Like, look at Hamoud last time.
He lost his. Yeah, he got hacked, lost his shit, had to cancel and all that. So they have security problems as well. Now GOG has fewer security problems. They have games. They have okay sales. Like they're a new and upcoming launcher, right? And they're improving the UI with time. I open GOG fairly often as I play Gwent, and the more time passes, the more I grow to like that launcher. It's as if they're trying their best to keep up with Steam, who has a head start on them in everything. So GOG, as Ma said, is playing long term. They want to be the main launcher people use, and they're trying to do their best to not only be diplomatic with other launchers, but to also have people give them a chance, which is what they want. Give us a chance. Nobody gives any other launcher a chance except Steam. Everybody is just Steam is their default. No, there's no other reason for you to get any other launcher. GOG is trying to dispute that, and their first move is to unite all the launchers under their wing, which is basically like saying,
but you know what, Trillion?
Under us.
Guys, give Origin
but you know what, Trillion? Steam.
No, thank you. Yeah,
like Steam may be user friendly, but you know what else is user friendly? A washing machine. Now let's get back to the topic at hand.
Listen, all I know, women are not video game. That's it.
Women are not video games.
That's all I know.
That hurts.
Dude, there's a topic there. That's all I'm saying. We have to develop it, but it's out there.
We have to shape it.
No, since you guys are all about misogyny today, let's move on to the next topic.
One comment before we
move
leave
over.
It's
obvious no one cares about Epic Games.
Next
No.
topic
One more thing.
Yes.
The problem with GOG. Why nobody uses GOG? Because everything GOG has its own other launchers. Even like Thronebreaker and every other game is on Steam. They need an exclusive. I'm not pro exclusives, but for GOG to thrive, they need to attract people first. They have nothing. They have nothing. Like
exactly. How dare you?
Like, oh, Gwent, such a big game.
It is.
They need, dude. My petition here. Cyberpunk is 2077 on GOG. This is need to happen.
They'll lose money. They can't. They can do it with smaller games. They can't do it with Cyberpunk.
Dude,
they need a big move. The GOG Galaxy 2.0 is just a beautiful thing, but shame nobody will use it because I have nothing on GOG. If I don't play Gwent, I have just GOG is nothing to me. Like, you have no games on GOG. That's a problem. Okay, you need a unified launcher for everybody, but for you to download GOG, you need a game, one game on it, and nobody has a game on GOG. If you don't play Gwent, you don't have a game on GOG. That's the problem with GOG. No games. And again, if the game is on GOG and on Steam, it's cheaper on Steam without sale. Like at least $1 cheaper on Steam without sale.
I mean,
That's the problem.
Imagine
made
Fortnite.
Steam, like what made Steam pick up and made it the most popular game store and launcher, which was its own starting franchise, which was Half-Life, Portal, all of the Valve games like Left 4 Dead 2, Team Fortress 2, all of the CS:GO games. That's what made Steam popular in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. The GOG needs to pull a Steam here to make a game that is like TF2, that's like CS:GO. It's like GOG game. We made it, we nurture it. We're gonna do like I don't know, esports for it, whatever.
Basically, GOG is the only company that set their foot in the wrong place. Like what Babushka said, Steam had their Orange Box, fucking Uplay had their Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Sixes and shit. Epic had their Fortnite, which on its own is worth all of what came before it, apparently, money-wise. GOG just had your classic games, your fucking 1995 Descent classic first-person shooters. That has a small, tiny fandom compared to
Do
the
you know
shit they
what?
pulled off.
Do you know what's just fucking funny? We didn't even mention Blizzard once because they're with Activision.
Fuck Blizzard. That's
Dude,
I
fuck
mentioned
anything
EA,
that-
I mentioned Origin, and I'm not mentioning Blizzard.
Blizzard.
Dude, all of their games are just shit at the moment. Like, okay, let me give you an example. Destiny and Bungie in general are picking their shit up. Like they just split it with the Activision, and they're gonna release the game on Steam for free with all of the content, and you can make cross saves, which didn't happen because Activision is mainly with PlayStation. You can cross save from your PlayStation into the PC. And meanwhile, there's Overwatch. Huh.
Do you know what I'm waiting for? Do you know what I'm really waiting for? I'm waiting for Overwatch 2. They announce, Blizzard announced.
That's a fucking meme. You find that shitpost server. Blizzard announced Overwatch 2.
Dude, I'm waiting for Overwatch 2. Not because I want to play it, because I want to do Paladins versus Overwatch 2.
I just
It's a
want
Blizzard game. It's gonna
see
be
those
bad.
powerful, independent champion women. That's all I want to see.
Yes, all of them champions, women, all of them skins. That is the. Let's not start.
Does Paladins need a battle royale?
Please no.
I
They
mean,
have a battle royale.
They have a battle royale called Realm Royale or something.
Yeah, Realm Royale, and they started. They started big. They gave a celebrity or a streamer some money, and the game just they peaked at 100,000 viewer on Twitch. And then the game died because they did not continue the trend of giving people like money to play, and hirers are dumb because they don't use media. Like I saw only one ad for Paladins, and that was on Twitter. Like who the frick uses ads on Twitter? Like
My fucking university has ads on YouTube, and they put the ads on Twitter.
Dude, the first time I saw a Paladins ad, I thought it was a mobile game. No joke.
Dude, yeah, they hire a second media. Like, if you want your game, dude, Overwatch when it came out, I did not play games at the time. I did not play no console, no PC, no nothing. And I knew about Overwatch. This is how much media attention was there, because Blizzard pays for media. Media exposure is important. You cannot release a game no matter how much you love your game, no matter how much feelings you put inside your game. I know it's feeling. I feel my expire date is non-existent on my game. My game is all about me rushing my feelings within the veins of the skins I make for it. It's just so much fun to play. Look at me playing my game.
Period.
Dude, hardcore media exposure. This is what you need. This is for a game to thrive, for a game to succeed. You need hardcore media exposure. You need to pay fucking Ninja or whatever any of these we nerds.
Don't pay Ninja. Pay fucking meme channels.
Yep.
Make a meme out of your game. Instant success. Fucking Minecraft is back for the meme.
No.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
That is the truth. I tell ya.
No. Do you know why? Do you remember the McDonald's ad on the spicy McChicken? The fucking meme guy.
Okay, not like that. They got a memer to make their ad. No, we want the ad to be a meme.
Okay, just put Keanu Reeves. That's easy.
Yeah, just
It'll be breathtaking.
It will be breathtaking. This is what Cyberpunk.
1 out of 10, Louis. Try hard the next time.
CD Red, they're doing the media right. They paid a celebrity, a very well-liked celebrity, no scandals whatsoever. He did not sleep with nobody's wife. They put them there, and he made You're Breathtaking. And now Cyberpunk 2077 is famous, but nobody pre-ordered it. People pre-ordered Pokemon more.
Fucking sheep.
His name is Wooloo, please, not sheep.
Wooloo. Let's not get started on Pokemon, all right? Like I screamed enough in my last videos. So yeah, let's not start on this.
Dude, you lost weight in this video, goddammit.
Of course, dude.
So, moving on from that weird.
Next topic time. Next topic, please.
I'll have Louis lead on this. Tell us what you saw on the Dalai Lama.
Lala? What is that?
Oh. I can put down my porn. Hold on. All right.
That's why your face looks so intense.
I'm listening. Don't worry.
He still has the glasses on for a reason, you know?
I guess.
Oh, that's right. I lagged when everyone else did the cool glasses throw. All right. We're back in business now. So basically, the Dalai Lama did an interview today with a female in which the female asked him how he would feel if his successor was a female. And the Dalai Lama responded, I quote, if a woman succeeds me, she would need to be attractive because then no one would like to look at her face. And the internet exploded. Because of course it did.
What's Dalai Lama? What's that? Give us a background.
Is like a Buddhist monk in Tibet, and he's in charge of the communities there. The Dalai Lama is basically their pope, if you want to make it easy. And he goes around, has interviews, and talks about like the benefits and the greatness and the blah 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 blah. You know how it is. He's a very
the way they choose him. Yeah, and the way they choose him, from what I understand, is like if you've ever watched like Avatar: The Last Airbender, is like he has to pick certain toys, right? And then like if he picks them in certain succession, then he's the chosen one, right? Something to that effect. I saw a documentary a long time ago.
He's the one of everything.
What if he picks up the Barbie doll with his male? What happens?
Well,
then he's not God's choice.
Dude,
This is an interesting thing, right?
dude, I agree with him. I agree with him.
Well, yeah, you would agree with him. That's the correct thing to like. You see the logic behind the statement, but there's a problem, right? Is that everybody assumes that common sense or the givens are disputed within this circle of feminism movement, right? So what happens is you're saying unattractive women can't do anything. No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that if a woman has a leader position, it helps if she's attractive, much like a male does.
All males are attractive. Look at us here.
Imagine Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, the reason that guy got hired, right? And it wasn't
Maybe I
his-
shouldn't say that so soon.
Yeah, look
No,
at
goes-
honestly, that makes sense. Look at Trudeau's background. He failed. He's a failed engineer, isn't he?
He is.
And
He's
he
a- he's a
so
failed
then he got involved in the social sciences and barely made the cut for that. And then somehow he's the leader of where is he again? Yeah, Canada. Blech, no one
Prime
cares
Minister,
about
right?
Canada.
What is
Let's
he?
not talk about Canada.
But failing engineering is the road to success.
Oh, preach.
No, let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. A lot of the last presidential election, like the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, when they did their elections, a lot of people voted, and let nobody fool themselves. A lot of people voted for the people who looked like they can become good presidents. The people who were physically imposing, who were very outspoken, stand up for them.
Charming.
Yeah, charming.
John F. Kennedy, basically.
Yeah, right. So, it's not just a matter of having the right ideas. It's also a matter of looking the part. And what the Dalai Lama is saying is like, if the female was unattractive, everybody will look at her and be like, okay, next. But if she was, people would hear her out, which is what the Dalai Lama would require. The Dalai Lama looks the part, and that's good. But if he's female, there is no looking the part for a female besides being attractive. That's an advantage.
Dude,
Right.
That's why all female singers use video clips.
That's why
Well,
all
males
female
too.
singers are attractive. There are plenty of ugly people out there. Plenty of
do
ugly
you-
girls who can
Dude,
sing like
I could never hear a female singer. Like I would get a headache, except Kulthum, which has a voice of a man.
That is a bit concerning, Aziz.
Dude,
We talked about this before.
dude, when female sings or talks, it's too much high pitch to your brain cells. I cannot hear a music for like more than 5 minutes when female singing. It's too much.
I don't think people support that opinion per se. A lot of people
Why?
find the high pitch somewhat aesthetic.
Dude, high pitch on a man. Okay, you can find some men with high pitched voice, but high pitch regular women voice without this, for example, the Adele voice, like this voice you can hear comfortably, or any other women who needs no man who gonna sing. It's not gonna work. It's just too annoying to your ears.
Okay,
Dude,
here's how it's like for me.
Dude, I come from a family who specialized in singing. I know what taste is, and women are not the taste.
Okay, I'll quote you on that later. But for now,
Yes.
I'll tell you how it's like for me, and maybe you'd agree. Because basically, like, I don't like high-pitched voices, period, on singers, men and female. Because it's more so that I'm used to low-pitched voices, because my voice is low-pitched and I hear it all the time. So when a singer, like, this is no joke, this is how I feel like. It's how I feel, and I feel like my voice has no expiration date.
He just admitted to listening to himself talk every single day.
All the time.
This is impossible.
Basically,
I got defeated intellectually. This is impossible. Like this is some kind of anime comeback. What is this?
I put it.
Tips glasses.
Wait, where are my glasses?
No, Aziz can do it. He has the there we go. There he do it again.
Fuck off. Yada yada. Oh, fuck. Gonna wake up when it's come down.
Guys, I need an adult.
There are no adults here, Trillian. This is the salt grinder.
Yes.
So, you know what this like attractiveness thing reminds me of a video you showed me, Louis, of yet another Trump rape victim who wants to expose the misogyny of the corporate world or whatever. Me too, right? And she goes on an interviewer on CNN or whatever, one of these platforms, right? And she's like, I wouldn't call what happened to me rape. It was more violent. It was not enjoyable. She was saying all of these things. And the interviewer was like, but rape is not enjoyable. What are you saying?
Not enjoyable, huh?
Right. And she goes and she says it. She finally puts it out there, right? And she goes like, yeah, a lot of people like think rape is like sexy. And like there's an engagement in there. But that's not what happened. And immediately the interviewer was like, we'll be right back. Moving on.
Dude, she got Anderson Cooper, who is one of CNN's most distinguished interviewers. She got him sweaty, like he didn't know what to do. Immediately to commercial.
And
but she said it. You're right. She said she finally put it out there. The whole rape fantasy discussion. It's a public dilemma now.
It's the same thing as what the Dalai Lama said. Like the world right now, the U.S. in particular, as a culture, is not mature enough to discuss ideas that are true and need to be expanded upon, so the truth becomes clearer and people start making peace with certain things and be relaxed about it. There's always that element that we can't talk about this or we can't talk about that because somebody somewhere who have never been raped tells you that they've been raped. You ask them by who, they tell you they can't say. You ask them when, they can't tell you when. They just, somebody looked at her the wrong way and she felt raped, right? That's one of their new things. And because of these people who yell and organize movements and attack you on whatever, nobody can make a point anymore. Even if it's good or bad. Maybe the Dalai Lama having to be attractive as a female is a bad thing. Maybe females needing attraction as a selling point is a bad thing, and that says that we're in a mature culture. Well, we need to talk about that for that to change. If it needs to change, we need to have a conversation. But in both these cases, there seems to be like a pause, right? Between people. They refuse to expand upon the topic on fears that they'll cross territory that's unexpanded. And those topics can end careers. Let's not kid about that. The fact that we mentioned them so casually, had we been more popular and more mainstream, would have cost us views, would have cost us, we would have been attacked. YouTubers would be discussing
media.
Yeah, what to do with us, we'll be on the court of public opinion, as my brother would say. Right, and I think that's a problem with what's happening right now. It's like we can't talk, we can't have the opinion of the opposition of the movement, and everybody seems okay with that, and that's a problem.
Well, hold on, Trillian. Because this has a lot to do with the fact, and I explained this to you yesterday, that the maturity comes from, as far as rape being a fantasy, which many women have admitted to me that it is a popular fantasy and it is something that exists as a tag on many porn sites, right? Like lesbian, straight, gay, rape porn. That's a thing you can look up. And the problem is that the people who are attempting to discuss this do not psychologically understand it. In my opinion, you can only explain this psychologically because it's the only appropriate way to say it. Some guy's not just going to go out there and be like, "Yep, rape porn. I like it."
I
And
like it.
Well,
yeah, no,
First
it
things
would be
first.
3
Dude,
seconds before that person.
dude,
Where's
where
Khaled
is-
when you need him?
Where is Khaled when you? Oh, you said that.
fuck off.
I don't think Khaled's a credible source to
Is
find
that
out.
a call out?
Where is Khaled when you need him?
Are we
Professor
calling
Hen-
out the
Bring
hold on, Shirley.
Professor Hentai back.
Are we calling out the god of hentai?
Yes, Professor
No, I-
Loli.
I don't think he has an authority on the subject.
I don't think that's for you to decide anymore.
No, I know. Let me
Hentai
tell
and
you
rape
why.
go hand in hand, so
No, let me tell you why. Because he'll tell you about how all the awesome things about, like, uh, saying awesome is weird when it's associated with rape.
Yeah,
Now
don't
that I
put
realize-
words in Professor
Yeah.
Hentai's mouth, Trillion.
Dude, you have to understand. I went out with the guy, right?
You went
Like,
out
all
with
of
him?
us-
Hmm?
Like all of us went out to a campsite, and we have to invite Khaled because we need some action, right? It's his, and he was sitting talking to somebody about like rape and hentai from the 90s and all that stuff, explaining to that person. And me and Aziz were playing a friendly game of mahjong, right? And we kept playing. Half an hour to an hour passed, and I looked behind me, and they were still there and talking about the same thing. And it's basically a one-sided conversation where Khaled is just telling you about something, and you're like, "Yep, yep,
This is
Uh-huh.
uncomfortable.
yep." Like the person at that time did not have like the social maturity to say like, "Can you shut the fuck up?" You know. And it's it's one of these things. That's why I don't consider him an authority. I consider like anybody on this panel more of an authority on rape culture and rape and all of that stuff.
hold on 1 second. I'm in Canada. Please.
Basically from the assumption that people here have common sense. You can break
Oh.
it down. It's not difficult.
Dude, the thing about rape porn is the thought of being dominated, and this is very popular with the women and with the weebs. They like being dominated with boyish, like girl as like Tracer.
Okay, hold on.
It all
Wait,
comes
no.
back to Overwatch.
It all comes back to Overwatch. The thought of being dominated is really popular between males, females, whatever. It's just a thought of surrendering yourself to someone, like being vulnerable. You don't. A lot of, especially males, that doesn't get to experience that. So it's like you're sexually curious for it, and female too. Females like too want to get violently dominated. They're curious for it, and once they get raped, maybe then they hate themselves. But this is that's why it's very popular. It's the sexual curiosity. That's why porn is popular. That's why, like, that's why I don't know. Animal porn is popular. People are curious, want to see, want to know how it feels, want to just it's sexual curiosity. This
Well,
is
you want to
what
know the
it is.
biggest irony too?
Mhm.
Domination is highly preferable with feminists.
Mhm.
And that's all I got to say, actually.
That's enough
But
said.
see, here's the thing. That all of these stuff, all of these fantasies from rape to domination to whatever, fucking foot fetishes, all they have a million ways to be manifested or to like have a reason to why someone would like it. It might be one of those things, it might be other things, it might be more of a specific case or context. So we can sit down and say, oh, it's because of this, this, and that, but it doesn't matter at the end that people will like weird shit. And you shouldn't be surprised for that. I think the debate is more towards why is this acceptable while actual rape isn't? And this one would have more founded reasons, mainly that actual rape, first of all, you do not find the other person as someone trustworthy or even desirable to begin with. And it has an element of fear, and that's a big thing. Usually people don't like to be afraid. So I think the debate is more focused on why this isn't acceptable, but that is. That's about why is that acceptable to begin with.
It's not. It's. Oh,
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Tony.
I am the
Uncle.
host. You go ahead.
It's not about rape fantasy or rape being acceptable. It's just everything. It's just a human. It comes down to human instincts. That if you go back in like the first human who were forbid to eat an apple, and they ate it anyway because the desire of something forbidden is within our genes. The desire for forbidden things. It's just this type of desire what makes humans what makes them make mistakes and what makes them desire the forbidden or the undesirable or whatever you call it. It's deep down comes down to our genes, the love for something forbidden. This is what it is. It's not about what is it okay, is it acceptable. As long as it's forbidden, it's desirable. Simple as this.
Let me take this one step further. Actually, there was a recent article that is making the rounds and is getting made fun of a lot. There is a 40-year-old woman who claimed that she has the quote unquote perfect feminist husband, and that he treats her right. He does all the chores around the house. He's always assisting her. That he's a great guy, and she posts an article claiming that he is too perfect and she wants him to cheat on her because she's bored. She wants more excitement in the relationship. He's the perfect guy, but she needs something to spice it up. And guys already didn't know what women want, and now it's perfectly clear that women themselves don't even know what they want.
No, it's very simple. And again, it was all explained. Like the fun, like I always enjoy it because, like, I've looked a lot. I looked this up a lot, and the basic consensus: there are two things that female like on a male. One, they like. There's of course the female hero mythos, which is finding a beast and then taming him, and there's an excitement to that, and it's desirable mainly because the male they're trying to attract or the partner they're trying to get is able to provide because he's high on the male dominance hierarchy, right? Because he's high, it's safer to be with that male than with like a beta of sorts. And the other part of any female relationship is structuring, right? Like it's rare for a guy to have like a female partner or a friend or wherever and wanting to actively change that person, right? They enjoy their company, they don't care, they want to do their thing and they want to enjoy your company. Be that friend or be that partner, whatever it is, right? It's very rare. And we can agree, like, you know, when you meet somebody on the street and you like their jib and you hang out with them a lot, you don't want to change them per se. Maybe improve their circumstance here and there. There's always room for improvement, but no pressure, right? You just want to chill. The females don't have that. The female has a more like of a structure or a need for structure from their mind. So what happens is they try to, whenever they enter a relationship or a friendship, they try to change and actively change the person and further refine them into either a better version of themselves or a better version that suits them. And that comes from, of course, the way a mother is constructed, right? A mother is supposed to shape her child and help him or her rise and get better and be the best version of themselves or the best version they see their child to be, etc., etc. There's always a nurturing factor to the female, right? And whenever they get into any relationship, they always want to nurture that person one way or another. So what happens is, whenever a male is introduced to a female relationship, one, it's always preferable that they're aggressive, and two, that aggression should be tamed over time. And the challenge of dealing with that over a long period of time is what excites the female. What happened to that lady is that she thought she liked something based on her own logic, that her own feminist logic, but it reached a point where there's nothing to improve anymore, right? And since there's nothing to work on, the project is done. Like, imagine making a painting or making a PC or whatever, like whatever you want to make. Imagine making it and there's no more room for improvement. Will you continuously research and be excited about that PC or whatever that product is? Never, right? So that's what happened to that female. There's no longer room for improvement. There's nothing to do anymore.
So
That's
what you're saying is he occasionally needs to beat her, right? So that she can work
Kathy
on
Newman.
taming him. This is the
Hello,
discrepancy,
Kathy
though. See, would you consider? See, I've had some people call this an example of toxic femininity, though. It's women are either too controlling, or they never know what they want to control, and because of that, they single-handedly let a relationship fall apart. Because then they end up being the ones that try to be the ones that need to be tamed, right? The good girl suddenly becomes a bad girl, and let's be honest, the bad girl just doesn't have the same vibe or taste as the bad boy. So
Yeah,
they
that's
make
what
an
they
attempt
say.
to reverse the efforts.
Toxic femininity is the worst term since toxic masculinity, because it's obviously like when people try to be meninists. It's such a fucking cringe term. That's all I can think about ever since you said it. But yeah, if you are a bad girl, message me, DM me, please. Okay, moving along.
Send me your Steam account.
Are you going to continuously let out sad statements out of your mouth, man? Is that what your existence is for now?
So this
Okay,
is great.
shut up. That's it. Just shut up.
All right, fine.
You
Fine.
hurt his Canadian
Trillion.
feelings.
Oh my god,
He
I
needs
feel
someone
like
to
my
slide into his
sadness
DMs.
has no expiration date.
No. Think
You know
with
what that
female.
sounds like? Sounds like one of those Tumblr quotes. You know those pictures with like the Tumblr quotes on them?
I believe I have power. I can do everything. But no.
And then the
Right.
comments are always super blunt, like shut up. Go die, right? It's the internet, right?
No, funny part, I don't think it's toxic femininity. I think it's just a problem with communication, much like everything else in the world, right? Basically, women can't tell you that that's what they want, much like you can't tell them what you want as a male.
See, but okay, but on the women's side, do you think that part of the reason they cannot convey that in 2019 is because of what third and fourth wave feminists have put inside their heads? Because of what they've implemented in society, that they cannot now get out there to the world. I want a man that's X, Y, and Z, because if I do that, I will be a traitor to my gender.
No, I don't think that. Mainly because this is as long as I can think. Like I look like whenever you look at any historical context and there's a female involved, there's always something or another that equates to nurturing, right? Even the way historical characters talk about their moms and their wives and like wait, what? Why are you guys laughing?
Yeah, Matt want to talk. He raises his hand.
All I wanted to know is when the fourth wave feminism became a thing. Someone told me.
To be fair, I barely found out like a month ago too, so it's a term people are using.
That's crazy one.
But yeah, it has always existed, this nurturing factor. But a woman can't tell you about it. A woman can't tell you about it because if they do, the game is lost. It's like somebody is playing poker, right? And they tell you what's in their hand. Well, okay, then what's the point of us playing poker? Right? It's that simple. Okay, there are poker
That's
tactics.
settled
You can
now.
teach them how to
Women
engage.
are poker.
Dude,
No, that's where you're wrong, Trillion. It's not that simple.
It is.
He referenced
It
the
is-
meme,
it
guys.
is
You
in
know
theory.
the meme? The meme where he's like, "What do you want?" And she's like, "It's not that simple." You know that meme? I like
Yes,
that meme.
I love that meme.
Yeah, it's a good meme.
That's
So,
my point.
wait,
It's
what the fuck
not
is
that
fourth
simple.
what the fuck is fourth wave now? What is this movement about?
It's I couldn't really tell you, but it's being passed around. So just be ready for it to
They
be
just want to
eventually
spice
become a
it up, you
mainstream
know.
term.
Apple
Can I-
released a new phone. Feminism released a new wave. That sort of stuff.
The new patch is out.
exactly.
We have bug fixes. We have everything we need. We have a new.
New
No,
skin.
Actually,
We fixed the graphics. The our feminists look even uglier now and more
No, no,
unmarriageable.
I want to mention. I maybe that's the one part of the fourth wave or whatever. But there is a particular video I saw about a woman from Amsterdam,
Oh,
and
God.
we can't show the video because it would be censored. But it goes something like this. It's a 1 minute and a half video. It was on ul.com or one thing or another, right? And
Mhm.
a woman, very attractive, all made up, like short hair, very,
What?
very,
Very attractive, you say.
very busty cleavage. Whatever,
Attractive. Huh?
right?
She's like a 4, bro. Chill.
Yeah,
Whatever.
she kind of like
I
a
never paid
5
attention
top.
to the video.
Okay.
I was
Go continue.
So the female goes with like a speaker, like announcing that basically that she wants to emphasize that females won't have more control over their bodies and want more control over their bodies and something silly or another, right? Something that's already been established but has to be emphasized for some reason. And to prove the point, she was like, okay, she's wearing, instead of a skirt, like a box,
A mirrored
okay,
box.
a mirrored box, right? And within the
Mhm.
box, there's like a square that is empty, like hollowed out.
It's like a hole, yeah.
Yeah, just basically like a hole. And she's like, for 30 seconds, anybody who wants is allowed to basically reach in and explore, right?
Mm.
She
And-
made a glory hole in a pants.
Right?
For 30
Basic-
seconds, you will have the Donald Trump experience.
For fuck's
Right.
sake.
Pretty
And
much.
What she would do is basically, and weirdly, she placed the camera inside the box to see what the hands are doing. And basically, any person would show up, she would like sanitize their hands, and then they'd reach in. And like that was to prove a point, and I don't know what the point is, and I don't think anybody
I know
else
what's
did
the
who
point
touched
is.
it.
Ban weed.
Remove heresy.
It's fucking Amsterdam. Weeds are
Right.
weeds are everywhere.
But it-
People
It
are
does
walking
pose a
naked.
question.
Amsterdam. Like if a guy, I have no problem for guys going to Bangkok, but if a guy go to Amsterdam, it's even scarier. Dude, Amsterdam is the it's where pants are not allowed. It's just so much other. You start with a
No.
weed, you end up with I don't know, box.
Box
No.
with a hole.
Here's the thing. I've thought about this very deeply. I really tried, right? Like I sat there, like after I saw the video, just shell shocked, right? Trying to find anything, and I came to realize this. First, fine, okay, it's better than screaming at my face, certainly. So do whatever. But there's a problem here. The problem here, in my opinion, is that this emphasizes that unless the feminism movement is aggressive and violent, There is no backing in which they can do anything because everything they're yelling about has already been given and established. Voting rights, jobs, pay, all of that stuff has already been established, and the rest is just statistics that need to be analyzed. But because they don't know what to do, or what they just want to push for it, they want to alter the stats. They're trying to make like these movements that are kind of weird, right? And if they're not yelling at you, they're doing this. And when they're doing this, there is literally nothing you can get out of it, which makes you think that it's back to square one. Any movement based on feelings and agreeing on things is a movement bound to fail. Passion is not a good motivator for a movement, right? People would argue against this, but like, we can go back to the French Revolution, right? There is historical backing to what I say. If you charge with passion as your main focus, without a plan, without logic, without structure, your revolution, your feelings, your movement is bound to fail.
By the way, she was fighting for something. I mean, think about it. Men have it way easier. Oh, look what she had to go through to do her little stunt. She had to make a box, dig a hole in it. Guys just have to unzip their pants. The exact same effect.
But let's be real.
Feminism is fighting for.
No guy is gonna unzip his pants publicly and please fondle me and use hand sanitizer. No.
Mr. Dam, you forgot what you were saying.
Okay. You beat me.
No. Actually, this is something funny. What's with like feminism and sluttiness allying together, like one particular like big
Dude, this
thing?
This is what liberals want. It goes back to what
Yes.
liberals want. It's all leftist agenda. It starts with we're gonna work. Liberals are all about working faithfully to the country, and that's it. And the actual agenda is make everybody like animals humping each other on the streets. This is what they want. This is what the liberals and the leftists want. They want you to go back to the Greek days where everybody's walking naked and humping each other on every corner. This is what all
Imagine-
liberals want.
Imagine a Muslim Ben Shapiro. His name would be Abdulaziz, right?
I can speak fast. Like Sonic.
I mean, look at what's his name, Marzouk Al-Ghanem.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
no stop. Go on.
Dude, even in Saudi, is it the liberal agenda is coming. Once they had the fucking One Piece lover as the president of Saudi Arabia, look what happened. He's fucking liberal. He likes Nami so much. He now
President.
made the president. The president's son.
Hold on, the president's son.
No, you can't say he's a president. They're not a
A
president.
king.
They're not
King
elected.
of Saudi Arabia. King of Saudi Arabia. My bad.
Wait,
Pardon
there's-
my English. People's muchachos. All right.
Hold on, there's a
That's
King
not
king.
English. That's
Of
stupid.
Saudi Arabia.
There's a king
Alright.
if there's a king of anything that's an anime fan, they need to be dethroned and or assassinated ASAP.
Well,
Dude.
look no further than Saudi Arabia.
Dude,
Overthrow them.
that guy's so
They can't make
dumb.
good decisions with fairy tale ideals.
Exactly. He want to liberalize Saudi Arabia, and he's so far succeeded. And what's the byproduct? They made a club there, but with no drinks. It's just a club. I don't know. It's just, dude, liberals all about unleashing your inner animal. You're just gonna end up humping everything and drinking on everything. This is what
Aziz
liberalism
has
is
a
all
point.
about.
Yesterday they made a club in Saudi Arabia. Tomorrow there'll be bikinis in Saudi Arabia. Next week it's gonna be jutsus in the corners, just like.
Yeah,
Oh.
They need to slow down. They need to take it
But
one step at a time.
No, Naruto running will be an international sport.
yeah, that's running.
Bro, that's what I tell people. Like Saudi they need to slow down. Didn't women just get the right to drive right? Like that's your one innovation for the next 5 years. Chill out.
This guy has no
everything
chill.
takes time to marinate.
This guy has no chill. He want to finish his anime in 24 episodes.
He's just binge watching right now.
Yeah, exactly. This is what's happening. Like he's watching an episode of One Piece.
On Aziz's point, though, I do want to add on to that because the concept of the left wanting to turn everyone into an animal, that what Trillian mentioned regarding the feminists feminists align with sluttiness, that adds onto it. That's part of the animal nature. I always found it amazing how part of being a strong, independent woman is, in essence, to them, being able to sleep with whoever you want and being able to have sex with or whenever you want, which is fine, but isn't that supposed to be more empowering if you control that, not necessarily abuse it? Like being able to be in control of your own sexuality and your own body doesn't mean just go whore all over the place. It means be very picky with who you sleep with because you're not being forced to use your body.
See,
exactly.
that's where they get a dilemma, and they try to fix it by going both ways. They either, we support these horning characters because they get to do whatever they want with their bodies, or they get some covered up, insert religion here, fucking Muslims and wearing their hijabs and be like, oh, they are empowered because they choose not to. So they're like, oh, look at us. Both ways are good anyway. So it's like, you can't beat them. Their logic is whatever, as long as they chose to do it, it's okay. But if the patriarchy chose it, now that's the problem.
Well, that's why I argue their logic is no sustainable logic, because if they're trying to go both ways, then one side's going to get crucified eventually. And we've seen this happen where the feminists will say, you can be in control of your own body and women can decide to do whatever they want. But then a woman decides that she wants to be more traditionalist or wants to stay in the house and care for the kids and clean the house and whatnot. And she will get berated as being, what I said earlier, a traitor to her gender because she's not doing what they want her to do.
Do you know about
the same thing goes?
TERFs? Trans-exclusive radical feminists?
What is all these acronyms? What did Abby
you
say
never
last
heard of
week?
these?
It's really
These
hard
are
to keep
basically
up.
what you're saying on cocaine, on crack, basically.
It's really hard to keep up with these acronyms.
Is that I fucking watch them videos on YouTube. That's how you keep up with them. But basically, they're like.
I thought you studied that in Canada.
We might have did in one chapter, but that's not the point. Their whole shtick is that they don't support trans, because if you were a male and you became a female, then you're not actually a female. Fuck you for even trying to get into our society. And if you're a female who became a male, you're a traitor, basically. That's the first thing I thought of when you described that.
No.
No, actually, it comes. No, that's actually surprisingly consistent, mainly because the feminism agenda is that gender is a social construct, right? So, it was always a contradiction to have transgenders within the feminism movement or the SJW movement, because if gender is a social construct, then basically any transgender is basically fulfilling that social construct by manipulating their sexuality or whatever. So they're
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So this was always an internal contradiction. What this movement is telling me, at least they're sticking to their roots. Since gender is a social construct, there is a clear line, and anybody crossing that line is an enemy. At least it's consistent.
And I love this. I don't know. It just came to me. Pokemon just released a new mobile game called Pokemon Masters, and at the start of the trailer for it, whatever your gender is, you're gonna enjoy Pokemon. I'm like, what?
They said that on the trailer?
Yeah, that was written. Like, what does this has to do with anything? Like, it was out of place. Like, why do you even do that? Like,
Dude,
you
you're
can
not
say
here
it's,
to see, right?
dude,
So
like, it's simple if you said like everybody will enjoy Pokemon. Anybody will enjoy Pokemon. It's simple. But whatever your gender is, you're gonna enjoy Pokemon. What? What? No,
Neither
this is
dude,
not.
idea.
And then you choose between male and female.
it's
This is
Pride
Pokemon.
Month here,
Welcome.
so basically every city has to have its own Pride parade. And I'm looking at the pictures, right, from my friends in different cities in this country. It's 80% advertisement. Every company just buys a van, paints it rainbow, and puts their logo on it.
Exactly.
That's what a Pride parade is. It's just companies showing you, oh, look at how woke we are. Please support us because we support you. You want to watch
That-
our movie because it has one lesbian character? Please, come on.
Dude, it's marketing strategy. When it comes to business and money, and if you have no like rules for yourself, like ideals and whatnot, do whatever you want to gain the monies. It's simple. Do whatever it's gonna take you. If you have no ideals, like slap on Rainbow's logo, and there comes your money. There comes your a lot of things. And by the way, Harry Potter is now lesbian.
Okay, that's
Simple.
I thought it was
been
black.
over this like 20 times. The horse is dead at this point.
I know, but it, it's just what it is. People want to gain money. People want to gain fame. They
Woke
support
points,
what's
excuse me.
walk points. They want to support it. It's just business point. It's just business move at this point. I have nothing against it, but like you fucking businessman with no ideals. I like my ideals. I love them so much. I keep them in a box.
Oh my god, Trillion Packs uploaded a video about ideals.
Did you see that? It's very,
Oh my
very
god, what's
good.
good video? I approve.
Thank you for the random like plug-in. I'm getting like what 5 views right now on my videos. Like the
You are
viewing
welcome.
schedule went way down, so I appreciate the push.
Yeah.
Well,
YouTube.com
what happened?
/
Trillion put a new video?
Yay.
I ain't
But
subscribed
ideals.
to that dweeb.
Oh my gosh, you're so full.
Did I make it past 69 subscribers yet?
Who watches
very
Trillion Packs
happy about that
videos? That dork.
I watch them religiously every day with my daughter.
You want to know the funniest part about Trillion Packs videos is I have the bell notification activated,
Uh,
but I never
Just
listen to
ignore
them.
it.
they're entertaining. It's nothing beats Trillion talking shit. Nothing beats it.
I like the part where he says greetings and it's like really awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everything
nothing
is
nothing
awkward.
beats the beginning. Every single time where he looks there, he's like getting ready still. He's looking at the side. He gets comfortable in his chair.
Heavy
He
breathing.
pulls up
Yeah.
his pants. Oh
Greetings.
shit, I forgot that one.
Heavy breathing. Heavy breathing. Into the topic.
No,
Heavy
my
breathing,
favorite parts.
Heavy breathing. Chatbot. Heavy breathing.
Hmm.
Well, to be fair to me, I record these in bulk. Like I gather topics for like a month, and then in one recording session, I just for the next 2 hours I'm recording, and
Mhm.
my rule is the second you click, there is no takebacks. You just talk, right? And you just go, and you
Oh, believe me, it
struggle.
shows.
Yeah, you struggle in the middle. It's great exercise for me, just to practice
No,
just thinking on the spot.
Bro, I enjoy watching your videos. Real talk. I enjoy watching you go. I have an example. It
Oh,
goes
yeah.
like this, and then there's like a pause as you're thinking because you haven't fully thought it out yet.
You
Dude,
see,
half of these are shower thoughts and things people tell me to talk about, and I never think about them until that time. Like the second I click, that's when the thinking process starts. It's a weird art in a way. I've learned slowly. Like if you see my earlier videos, like they were like at least the thoughts were more concise. The more time passes, the less the thoughts are concise. And as far as I'm concerned, the more fun they get to make.
I appreciate that you don't use an editor though. Because everyone knows that could be cleaned up way better if there was an editor, but I appreciate the bluntness.
Dude,
Or, you know, it
it's-
reminds me of the old school YouTube where people would fucking answer phones in the middle of their videos and start texting. It didn't matter, responding to emails. Oh, the
That's
camera's
it.
still on. Sorry.
Sorry.
I mean,
The same
what-
thing I do. It's just 90% of my videos is one take. It's just I don't even edit the bad parts out if like I'm stuttering or whatnot because it's funny. Like look at this guy struggling to talk English. It's funny. I it's all one go. You hear me ranting, talking shit. It's all one go. 90%. I edit some of my videos to make them shorter, and if I talked way too much smack, I just remove that part, and it's just fun to me. Script was the hard part for me. I tried doing script videos. I suffered so hard. Like I'm the guy who talks on the spot. Like give me a topic, I talk about anything. I know everything. This is me. I know everything. Simple.
What I like about Trilion's videos is where he gets his ideas. Like his mind clicks either on the toilet or in the Dwania while he's talking, or in the shower, and sometimes in fire exits. And he knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Fucking
Dude,
fire.
basically, we're talking, and I'm like, oh, that'd be an interesting topic. Let me put that on the list, and that's it. That's the era of structuring my videos and planning what I say. Like it's long gone because I've tried it. It's boring.
Yep.
I think the second you give in to the jump cuts,
Yeah.
you
yeah.
lose credibility.
Mhm, mhm. This is my-
Especially
this
in
is-
vlogs.
Yeah, this
Like,
is
okay,
this is,
structured videos.
this is why my thing when I started. I hate jump cuts. They look nice sometimes, but no, like just hear me out throughout the whole thing.
No, it's not only that. It's this, right? Okay, I'm talking. Let's say I'm talking about I don't know, say a bottle of water. I'm trying to sell you this bottle of water. Very very good, double stainless, holds heat for a long time and holds cold for a long time, right? And I want to tell you about the science of it. Let's say this is double steel plate. Wait, shit. Okay, pause again. This is double C. God damn it! Again, this is and you keep doing re-record and re-record and re-record until it's perfect and it shows. And you know, like you start worrying about how many seconds you leave, like 0.3 seconds, 0.2 seconds between transitions. Do you zoom in real good when you're saying a joke? Do you zoom out? Do you like go away from the mic and go ah? And,
No, Steve, that's reaction videos. You're in completely new territory now.
And
Yeah,
Rest in peace,
It's not-
Etika, by the way.
yeah. After you do these reactions, you die in 29 years of old.
What did he die of again?
Suicide?
Mental illness.
Really?
Suicide.
Yeah.
I just saw the headline. I didn't know.
Dude,
Wow.
with all due respect to the dead, he brought this to himself. He brought this to himself.
He had a breakdown, then he just threw himself off
Did
a
you see
fucking bridge.
the public stunt he did last time?
Wow.
That was horrible. Like, how are you mentally ill and you did that public stunt? Then you say sorry to people. He
who
got.
are you talking of? I don't know.
Do you know the memes? The smash when the smash get announced, that black guy going crazy.
Okay.
This black dude is
Oh,
the guy
he took
who died.
himself out. Huh.
Yeah, I think so. And everybody's like rest in peace and whatnot, but he brought this to himself. Like,
No.
why are we?
With no respect to the dead, I have no respect for people who take themselves out, and there's a reason for that.
Like he says I'm mentally ill. Okay, I don't want to cut you, but I want to emphasize this point. He said I'm mentally ill. I'm suffering, and next thing he does a public stunt
Claiming
against
he was, yeah,
city police. That was no
claiming
mentally
he
ill
was
guy.
fucking antichrist and somewhat.
Whatever it is, there is no excuse for you to take yourself out, and I do not because you damage everybody. It's not just about you. The world is not just about you. You know, you're born in this world thinking the world is about you. That's fair enough. The mother and the father take care of all your needs. Every time you say something, you see everybody begging for reactions. Everybody likes the kids, right? So and everything is within your eyes. So as far as you're concerned, you are the world, right? And if that's not beaten out of you quick, both figuratively and sometimes literally,
Mhm.
you start thinking you're the only one that matters, and that's what suicide is at the end, right? When you take yourself out, you say, I can't go on, right? And everybody's inherently selfish, and I'm okay with that. But just if you take yourself out, me as a person who's selfish looking at you, I can't respect you because you damaged everything around you. It's worse than suicide bombing sometimes, because at least suicide bombs kill their people quickly, right? If you take yourself out regularly, you're killing everybody slowly. If you're a mother and your kid committed suicide, you're dead too, right? You can't recover from that. And that's a problem. And there is no solution besides man up, right? It's fine. You're
Okay.
mentally ill. Take charge. Take charge of your own life. Don't play the victim. Don't be like I made a video on this, on weakness versus vulnerability. There is a difference. People are weak, and that's the problem. You can't.
Okay, Trillian, I agree with what he said for the most part, and I don't have much of respect nor empathy to anyone who kills himself, but I want to take this case in a bit of a different light, sort of look at it a different way. I fully believe that he had a chronic mental illness. Like, this guy wasn't in his full mental capacity. And when you have a mental disease of this magnitude, and I'm not talking like, oh shit, dad took my phone, now I'm sad. I'm not talking that bullcrap. I'm talking serious bullshit that even medication couldn't help. It's practically a disease at this point, much like cancer. So him killing himself is the equivalent of dying of cancer to me. Like, that is sad. But when we look at suicide, we always, like how he said with the whole thing of a mother would be dead too if her child died of suicide. Well, but that's because the mother automatically blames herself for his death. No one blames themselves when a family member dies of cancer, because cancer is wholly the predator here. But it's when the victim takes himself out, that's where it's like, oh, I could have done this and I could have done that. I could have been next to him and all that crap. So what I'm looking here is, well, what Trillian, I agree with what he said completely, but for the case of something like a massive chronic mental illness, which I knew Etika was going to kill himself eventually. Like, he threatened to do that 1 billion times on Twitter. That wasn't new. I wasn't surprised when he finally did it. But with something like him, I think just a matter of time, he died from another disease, just like anything else. Move along.
Fair enough.
Nick, I want to defend my analogy.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, I want to defend my analogy since it's not clear enough. It's very easy for you to take my statements out of their context and realize that they're horrible, horrible statements. So let me expand. Basically, suicide to me is worse than physical violence because a lot of people underestimate the effect of mental and psychological damage. And I'm not saying, oh, somebody had PTSD or somebody had trauma, whatever, and I'm talking a more natural form. What's worse, a wife beater or a wife that destroys her husband psychologically? Right? A lot of people would say the wife beater, he did physical violence. I would argue the opposite. And the reason I argue the opposite is because you can see the physical damage. You can control it. You can stop it. There's no extent, there's no limit to how much psychological damage you can take. And some people tank that shit for years, and it drives them to suicide. It drives them to break down, drives them into antidepressants. It drives them into violence. And to me, that's more important and nobody's educated on it, and everybody treats it lightly. And physical violence is a serious problem, but we got this. We're good at handling it. Everybody knows how to deal with it now, and anybody who doesn't it's their beat. If there's a wife beater, all the wife has to do is call somebody and show that person the bruises. Done. Right? Psychological damage, that's harder to prove, harder to implement, harder to take care of, harder to fix. Which is why I claim it's worse. Any psychological damage is worse than physical damage. A lot of people are like, I'd rather, when my knee gets busted, that I exercise on the hurt knee and hurt it further than stay at home knowing I'm useless until my knee gets healed. A lot of athletes suffer from that, and they can't sleep, they can't talk, they feel powerless, and they're depressed until their knee gets better, right? Because of that reason, the psychological element that everybody tends to ignore. So yeah, that's the context of me saying it's worse than that.
I want to expand on this. And I want to expand on 2 points. First point is the physical versus psychological thing. And you see that clearly in prisons. Like, no matter how much you physically abuse the prisoner, he's not going to talk, he's not going to bend, he's not going to do anything. But the psychological horror, like the Russian did to the prisoners, like the Germans, and a lot of, I think Trillions has a lot of great examples he can enrich us with. Like they deprive you from your sleep, and they make you go crazy, and then you end up doing some weird shit or killing yourself or something. Like a lot of physically abused prisoners were back okay. Like this is what happened in Egypt prisons with the Muslim Brotherhood. Like the Brotherhood were in prison, and the amount of physical abuse they did. Like if I can, one thing they did that make my whole body just cringe away is they would take a stick, a thorny stick, and they would stick it inside your penis going in. This is how much physical abuse they did. Yes, it's bad, but the Brotherhood did not break, and nothing happened to the Brotherhood. It stayed strong because it's physical abuse. Okay. Physical abuse, you kill us, we go to heaven. It's simple. Nothing can beat them. Nothing the Egyptian threw at them could have beaten. And the other point I wanna expand on is suicide bombing. Suicide bombing is not bad.
Aziz moment.
Yes.
Pause for dramatic. Proceed.
Yes. Suicide bombing is not bad, as long as there is no innocent people as collateral damage. Enemy versus enemy. You throw one guy in, destroying, takes out a flank, and that's how you win the war. Suicide bombing is appreciated. It's heroic. It's counted as sacrifice, not suicide, for the greater cause of what you're doing. But what's happening nowadays, like innocent people getting as collateral damage. I'm not talking about the innocent people of Israel. They're not innocent.
Okay.
I'm talking about... You're going to stop me right now?
Hold on.
All right, I'm going to stop.
We're going into this territory. The FBI is watching.
Basically, what is an enemy?
I want to protect Aziz by explaining that what he's describing in a suicide bombing that does not affect anybody else is not called suicide bombing. Suicide bombing is generally when you target an innocent, living, regular people, no military bases, nothing. Yeah, civilians, people that are not actively in the war, to make the statement of nobody is safe. You take our lands, we annoy you too, right? And that context is what suicide bombing is built upon. Because when somebody sacrifices themselves to get a flank, or the paratroopers jump out of their planes into enemy territory and they all get wiped out, but they manage to give the front enough time and enough distraction to push in Normandy style. Those are not considered suicides. Those are considered war.
But war,
It's very
sacrifice.
different. Yeah. Anything within the context of war is different. But what suicide bombing is mainly focused on is, of course, attacking civilians that are not involved in the war. You're not blowing up a factory that produces weapons. You're not blowing up, for example, oil tankers to stop people from getting what they need. That's all war. What's happening is basically people angry at the wrong people, and so they hurt them. And this includes anything. Like, again, let's say suicide bombers, let's say the Palestinians, right? If a Palestinian is defending their rights and they're being oppressed, so they hit a soldier, I'm fine with that. But if they go in the middle of the streets randomly in Israel and shoot a family, what did those guys do? Right? So there is a gray area here, right, that needs to be explored, and it depends on context of place. Another one, one person's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter. It's all over the place. But I want to go back to the point of psychological torture. You said examples, comparison between physical violence and psychological violence. And I want to bring two examples, one from the Germans and one from the Russians, right? And to me, that's more painful than what the Egyptians, who are clearly primitive at this art, did to their prisoners, right? What the Germans had you do, and maybe the Russians, I'm not sure, but what the Germans had you do is you would walk, every day, you'd go and they'd force you to build something, a structure, right? And at the end of the day, you break it, you destroy it, and then you go back to sleep. And when you wake up, you do the same thing tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after, for no point whatsoever. You build something and then you break it. And the first few days, you don't care. After the 50th, 60th, after the year, this starts being very, very hurtful, right? Why are I doing this? Why are they, they're not gaining anything? Why are they doing this, right? Name calling you throughout, ragdolling you. If you underperform, you get punished, etc., etc. And again, the Germans are noobs. Let's go to the Russians. The Russians are where it's at the Gulag. It's a horrible, horrifying story. So they get you the Gulag, and I'm going to abridge the Gulag part because it's horrible on its own. You can look it up. But this one particular factor, you spend all the, you do your 15 years in the Gulag, right? You get out, you go home. Finally, I'm home. You go to see what happened to your family, catch up, who had kids, who didn't, and you enter your family home and you realize it's empty. Nobody, right? And then without any closure, the KGB would show up again and they're like, actually, we are accusing you of another charge, 10 more years. Right? And you go back right where you went. You thought you got out. You're going to go and see a loved one. You did not see anybody. You don't know what happened to them. And your biggest fear, of course, is, oh shit, are they where I was? Did they take them too? But without any closure, without anything, they put you right back where you got, and you have 10 more years of this. I don't think there's anything that would break a person more than that.
Psychological torture.
I don't know, man. A needle through the dick is pretty convincing on my end.
It goes away after a while. You get used to it.
Bro, no. I'm going to have nightmares about that tonight. I'm not going to be able to stop thinking. I'm going to need more beer.
Louis, please Google urethral sounding and have a good night.
No, thank you. Well, I'll write it down. It has to be I have to be in the mood.
Now, okay.
There is no mood for it.
Okay.
There's no mood. Moving
on from this topic, let's talk the democratic debates, all right? Because this was an embarrassment to the United States, and we need to actually address that. What the fuck is wrong with the Democrats this time? They were bad last year. This is horrendous this year.
What happened? Please tell me.
It's become a contest of virtue signaling, and it's...
Here's a summary. Trump is horrible. We're gonna give people free shit. I love transgenders. Topisucitos, serviti, jorpotos, hermanos. And that's pretty much it.
Here's my discrepancy. Besides the cringe forced Spanish that every single Democrat now thinks they can speak, my primary problem with the Democratic Party is if you think I'm really going to support a party that is going to promise healthcare to people that are not citizens when most of our citizens don't even have healthcare, you're smoking crack. It's just that simple. However, they are trying to play off of a humanitarian crisis because there are people at our border who are suffering, and there is no correct way for Trump to handle this.
Well, there's no correct
And
way.
so they're just there.
Dude, I don't think I've seen anybody from that Democratic circle who can beat Trump, let alone any Republican candidate. There's nothing there. There's no, like, okay, there were some, like, there are like two candidates that look promising. And I don't want to include Bernie. He's too old. Right?
Bernie doesn't answer questions either.
Yeah, that too. Like, everybody's darling Andrew Yang. Like, the internet is going crazy over that bitch. And then again, that bitch in red. I forget her name. Both seem to still want to cater to the audience, but the reason why I think they're weak, even them, is when Andrew Yang had a chance to speak, one of the things he mentioned is Russians have been involved in the politics. What? Really? I thought we left this in 2017.
No, that's not the real. The real crime is that Andrew Yang got, I believe it was a combined 3 minutes and 52 seconds of speaking time in a 2-hour period. That's a crime. That is, they need, first of all, MSNBC, it's no surprise there was going to be some problems with the moderation. But they just don't take it seriously. It's like there's a few select candidates they want attention to, which is not surprising. But you at least have to make it seem. You have to give the effort, the impression that you're giving everyone a fair chance. Because the Democrats are still trying to recover from the fact that Hillary cheated Bernie of the nomination in 2016. They still have not recovered from that. So if they still have not recovered from cheating the first time, they really shouldn't be trying to push that a second time. And people have already begun catching on.
No, the thing is, what troubles me, okay, Andrew Yang got cheated. Fine. His mic even went off. Fine. Right?
Yep.
If anything, that adds to his popularity. People notice these things. But in the 3 minutes and 40 seconds he had, one of the points he felt he needed to address was the Russian threat, or lack thereof.
I did not like that. You're right.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? Really? I liked you. You were okay. You were on my list. Why are you mentioning Russians? Are you just trying to play
Am I the only one though that thought? Yeah, am I the only one that thought that like he was listening to all the other Democrats speak and they were getting cheers because it's all virtue signaling, so it's all like, no, I support gays more. No, I support gay blacks more. No, I support gay midget blacks more. They just keep adding on to it, and woo, people in the background. And I felt like Andrew Yang was like, all right, I'm going to have like 30 seconds to speak in the next hour. So I might as well say something that's going to resonate with this brain dead crowd. Russia. And then you heard cheers, right? Woo! Woo!
Yeah.
Then he made a point about climate change later, which is not something that he emphasizes at all yet. So it's I saw him struggling, which hurt me.
No, they're not gonna beat Trump at this with this, whatever this is. Trump thrives off paranoia. People voted to him because Hillary was so scary. Well, you guys are looking pretty scary too, and not in the right way.
And there's 20 of them. Yep.
20 scary people, not a single one saying something like equating to logic. Can you bring Kanye in, please?
Oh shit, Kanye.
I'll tell you what killed the whole night was when that moderator asked the question, how many of you would provide health care for illegal immigrants. And all of them raised their hand very, very slowly, reluctantly. Oh, Twitter caught on to that. That was the top thing trending that night. Everyone caught on to how no one was sure of it. Do we support immigrants? That could make or break the election because Trump has made his stance very clear. A country without borders and without laws is not a country. We will deal with the humanitarian crises later, but we have to get the country in order first, even if that's a fear tactic. The Democrats are, I don't know. Is that what people want? All right, let's do it. Oh, that's not what people. Okay, let's not do it then.
What do you guys like? What would you guys prefer?
No one has balls. Yeah, no one has balls on that stage.
It's an embarrassment. I'm sorry for the Democratic Party that's what you guys have with, but you did this to yourselves. You did this by spending the last 3 years or 3.5 just hating on Trump instead of actually addressing his points and taking care of your country. That's what you get for censoring. That's what you get for giving power to people who don't deserve to be powerful. That's what you get. You know, you reap what you sow. Democrats, you reap what you sow. There's your crop. Enjoy it.
Did you say that in your job interview?
Yes, Trillion. I just heard that you had a job interview. Tell us how that went.
All right, you want to go? Okay. So I went. This was by far the toughest, longest interview I've ever been in. It was 1.5 minutes long. All right, excruciating. Holy shit, 1.5 minutes. How long can I speak? And the questions they asked, they wanted my name, my degree, my place of living.
No.
My place of even asked for my graduation project. Holy crap. And when they were done, when they were satisfied, exploiting me, they told me we'll call you in 2 weeks.
And did they call you?
Well, it hasn't been 5 days yet. So,
Oh.
so I bring up this interview topic because I noticed something. I talked I had a friend there who was already working, and I asked him a couple of questions and all of that. And then I've seen our government's work structure in general. I've compared it to outside countries' work structures and how they do interviews, and I came to realize something. It's not our country. It's a problem. Our country just is lazy enough to admit that they don't want to do it, right? But I've noticed a pattern is that whenever incompetence is left unchecked anywhere in the world, it like breeds and expands, right? And there's no stopping it. And I bring this mainly because let's say somebody's doing something like they're doing you a favor, right? Okay, I'll let you slip today, or I'll let you do something, and because they're lazy or they don't want to do it or whatever. Or somebody is drawing and nobody comments on how bad their art is or how whatever it is. Somebody makes a YouTube video and nobody's telling them it's bad, whatever, right? Anywhere where there is incompetence, if people do not address it, it breeds exponentially, and the incompetence spreads like a cancer all over the place. I mean, hell, look at the Democrats, right? Like that's what they did to themselves. Incompetence just breeds very quickly if left unchecked. And nobody has the social maturity to like look at the incompetence and accept that they can, if they say their opinion, there'll be backlash. Everybody's afraid if they say something, there'll be backlash. And I think this is an important factor in modern day society. Nobody has balls anymore to call out people, and whenever they do, everybody attacks them like they're the one who's in the wrong when they're not. And if anything, that is probably the biggest cancer that's spreading in our society. Incompetence and leaving incompetence just go around being okay with it.
Let me tell you one
mentioned
thing. Go ahead, Louis.
Well, I was going to mention real quick that your point about the silent majority being silent believe it was last week or 2 weeks ago, is a perfect analogy of this. It's most people see the problem, but because probably it's been championed by society or by those in power, influencers, they will not address it. And that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is that it's being adopted by people who think they should have that power. And because it's never addressed, they do end up gaining that power.
Let me address one thing in terms of incompetence. I did 2 interviews, one for the government sector and one for the private sector. In the government sector, the interviewer, she asked me, like, all right, we talked for a bit, then, okay, I want to ask you about your major, which is chemistry. And she asked me, all right, name the hydrocarbon compound that has 1 carbon and 4 hydrogens. I was like, is she serious? I was like, okay, it's methane. Oh, nice. You have a good base in chemistry. I was like,
Wait, what?
yes. She did not say that unless there's someone who fucked up this question. Like, anybody with barely any knowledge of chemistry know what CH4 is, methane. It's simple. It's nothing for a chemist or somebody who studied chemistry as their major to know what it is. Like, if you asked me to like something like little more complicated, I would not have answered because I forgot everything. But you ask me what methane is, and I was too confused. Like, I did not know how to answer. Like, I was, methane? And she was like, yes, you have a very good chemistry base. I was like, she's serious. Like, the level of incompetency, it's just like bumped in my head. Like, I was applying to a teaching position, and if somebody did not know what methane is, and he got accepted anyways for being a teacher, this is what the people who's teaching our children, people who does not know what methane is. And I applied, and I went to an interview to the private sector. All right. The interview is like 5 times longer. And all right. And one of the interviewers said, all right, now let's segue to the technical section or the chemistry section. He asked me, what's the unit for pH? And I was like, is he serious? Are you asking me, a chemist, what's the units of pH? I said, pH does not have a unit. Simple. And the sparkle on his face, nice. Dude, this is like chemistry 101. He did not get happy when I answered the question unless somebody fucked up that question.
Wait, so So what you're
it's
telling
the
me
kilopascal.
by pH, you're telling me how acidic or
how basic and acidic. pH does not have unit.
Yeah, it's just a number.
Yeah,
right.
And he asked me, does it have a unit, like as a trick question? And I said no.
Oh, okay, I get it.
And he was happy for it. He was happy for it. And why he was happy? Because somebody fucked up that question. And he asked me, what is ppm? I said part per million. Like anybody who studied analytical chemistry knows that. This is just a famous unit. And he was like, oh, very nice. Like, they did not ask me a single good chemistry question. Like, what's happening here? Like, I was afraid. I did not make my I did not review any heavy topics on chemistry. Like, I winged the chemistry, and they asked me what the unit of pH is and what's ppm. And
Don't worry,
the level of incompetency in Kuwait is just huge.
Aziz, I got you. Okay. Chemistry question. What is the element number 21? It's over.
It's over.
Sorry, come back another day.
No, Aziz, it's here too. It's I was asked once to How do you start by making a PowerPoint presentation? There's a tab with a plus sign on the left. Are you fucking retarded? I felt like asking. Oh,
Like,
good. And then they give you
Guys,
that, like,
guys,
that
hold on,
children
you
clap.
remind.
Ooh, good job.
So here I am in a computer programming course, right? That is required for all first-year engineering students. And the professor is like, okay, show of hands. How many people know what a prime number is? And like me and two other people raised their hands. I was shitting myself. I must have looked like the biggest fucking asshole in the room of how hard I was laughing.
look, I don't know.
That's a good one, man.
I
Because I
wanna-
can totally see it happening.
Yeah, I have to remind everybody that this is not one country. This is not one society. That's a misconception in Kuwait that our country's fucked. Look at all these other countries. And I'm like, no. Those other countries have it too. Right? Because everybody just, instead of raising the bar, started lowering it. Right? Again, asking basic chemist questions. I assume what they were trying to test you on, Aziz, was actually your ability to comprehend the question, to answer it with confidence, and to actually see if you're able to, if you get it wrong, to take it. So let's say somebody's like, what is a pH level? And you're not very good with English. What's the unit? You'll start, you're not very confident. Everything will like go crazy in your head, and you're trying to like link it to random things when you actually know the answer, but you just panicked. And they want to check for that as well, because that's all they need. They don't care about the chemistry degree. You'll get trained on that, right?
Yeah, that's bad enough, I guess.
Yeah, but the fact that the bar was raised this low on the pH question tells you that if they asked a more complicated question, nobody would get it right. And they were okay, we can't test them on what we want to test.
I can only imagine a process of them dumbing down questions over time with every interview.
People are too dumb. What to do?
Yeah, we can't test them properly.
It's everywhere, though.
Yep. Like if they actually wanted to test your knowledge on something, the way they do it is what they did with the interview that they did to my brother for his master's program in the UK. And what they did was they didn't ask a question. They were talking, and then they made a passing remark, like cement structures are that blah blah blah, and then they proceed like they're telling you. And then my brother, who caught it, stopped them. It's like, no, what are you talking about? That cement level for this is AAA, right? And they're like, oh, good, you caught that, right? Extra points for you. You did not just let us talk and assume we know what we're doing. No, you disputed the information. That's how they want to catch, if they want to test your knowledge if they want to catch if you pay attention and test knowledge. But if they just want to make sure that you don't panic under random questions, they ask you that preliminary. So, what is cement? Are you kidding? Yeah, no, we're not. Tell us what cement is. Please tell us what cement is. For the love of God, before I start crying, tell me what cement is.
Tell me what cement is.
It is
I'm
like
having nightmares.
the cum of the earth.
The cum of the earth.
Sticky and
No, I
make
bet
things hard.
somebody on that question was like, it's a sand mixture mixed with whatever and blah blah blah, and all a cement is it's a material that binds. It can be anything, right? That's all they want. They want the simplest explanation.
Answer, yeah.
Right, and somebody's trying to like reverse engineer what cement is, from their head, because all they can think of cement is like this big block that you add water to.
No, this is what exactly happened in the English test too. It was like, all right, English test, private sector. Everybody like who went to the Kuwait oil company, they tell me that their English test is hard, and
That's what go on.
and I went to because I went to the other company, not the Kuwait oil company, and the first question pops up, and it's It's a comprehension question. So paragraph, like question on the paragraph, 4 answers. And the question, okay, this is a sunny day, very beautiful day. Then the question, is it day or night? Are you serious? Like, I paused for a minute for the first question. Like, this is way too easy to be unquestioned.
Now, what's the
Like-
trick, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
thought
that's-
about it for a second and I got, okay, let me just day. Proceed. And every single question inside, like, but few were this. Like Khalid made a mistake by doing that and that and that. And the comprehension goes on. It's like very large paragraph. And the question, what was Khalid's mistake? Seriously?
Do-
What
my
is this?
My favorite part of English exams is the people who like find tricks to make the exam easier. So before you read the comprehension paragraph, once you know it's comprehension and identify it as a comprehension question, read the questions first. And after that, when you read the
Oh,
paragraph,
that one.
lines, and I'm like, you need this? Just fucking read it. Comprehend it.
Comprehended.
No,
And
okay.
you have-
I have a special connection to that one though, because when I was a kid, I sucked at reading comprehension. And then I don't know, I learned to read better, and I don't know, like if you're my age and you need to do that, you have a very bad habit that you need to scrap.
Mm. Some tests are weird, like weirdly easy, and then you see the level of incompetence of people scoring less than. I would forgive 85%. I would not tolerate less. Like that test was just few questions were challenging. All right, and there's a question. What's the correct pronunciation of this word? Like chaos or chaos or coos or moose.
Well, obviously, moose.
I was like, I
The
swear to
ch is
God.
silent.
What is this?
Oh,
Because
that-
you want to bet that somebody actually wrote that down as an answer? It's English and they're silent letters.
Child letters. Like,
the trickiest question might be spell beautiful.
the trickiest question was the correct spelling of entrepreneur. I think I got that one wrong. Like, what's the correct spelling of entrepreneur? Like E's and I's and everywhere. Like what is this? It's too complicated.
Oh, let Abby spell for you.
Okay.
I think I know that one, or I might need spell check
let's
for it.
fucking do it. Let's fucking do it. Everyone try to spell entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
Go, Louis.
Oh.
You can,
Oh,
on the spot.
E.
Oh, I have to go first?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with ENTREPRENEUR. I added a letter in there for sure.
Does
I'm under
anyone else
pressure,
wanna try?
guys.
Dude,
Babushka,
I
go.
I never looked it up later because I'm afraid.
Babushka, go.
That was one of them. I missed that in a spelling bee at one point, I think.
ain't happening, Chief. Ain't fucking happen.
Okay, look, I suck at spelling out loud or from the top of my head.
Hey, if I did it, you have to do it.
Fine. Let's see. ENTURPENOUR. I got that wrong, but I don't
Okay,
care.
he definitely didn't even try.
Babushka.
Okay, let me fucking try. ENT. I think there's an H. Okay, let's go. ENTHRO. PRE. N-U-E-R, entrepreneur.
I love how he says it at the end like it's an actual. Okay,
I see you cheating, Aziz. I hear you cheating.
Aziz.
No, I'm not gonna spell it. Dude, I'm not gonna spell it. I'm not gonna.
Okay.
Dude, there is a reason I did not look it up after the test. It's too
so
much. Too much
Here
pressure.
it is. Here it is. ENTREPRENEUR. Louis just added an extra A after the E. He got it.
Ah,
Dude,
There is
Yeah,
no H. What the
an
fuck? He
N.
tried to be a cool boy.
entrepreneur. Like you say that and all the misery. Like what
No,
is this word?
Dude, I can barely spell when I'm writing a sentence. You want me to spell like out loud, like a spelling bee? Like, I can't. It's
I recommend you use Grammarly. Very good.
if you're writing anything on the internet, you need to get Grammarly.
I write like every day, like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Like every other month, there is the Grammarly month.
is there is it that program with like an ad on YouTube?
Yeah.
That's what that is. Okay.
Or Duolingo shows up.
Fucking Duolingo is actually good. Shut the fuck up.
Dude, the problem with
cares for
entrepreneur. My problem with entrepreneur, I got when I went to click the correct spelling, like as Matt said it. Then I said it to myself inside my brain, entrepreneur. And I said it again. And every time I get one letter wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's the way it's said is just weird. Like
No, my
I
problem
went to
with
the correct
my problem with it is that it's a pretentious name to begin with. I'm an entrepreneur, right? Right? It's a pretentious thing. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur in Kuwait. I started hating the word enough never to care about it ever again. Dude, there's an entrepreneur rush. We're having our United States effect here. Everybody is encouraged to open their own business and do that, all that. Not everybody can be a businessman. It's a dangerous field. It's a field filled with risk, and people who are filled with risk-oriented brains should go for it, who are willing to do it. But everybody wants to start their Instagram business here. Dude, there are legit companies that now sell products on Instagram. Can you imagine this, Louis? Not
This
on
is
their
how
website,
famous it is.
on Instagram. Because, of the entrepreneur.
I've heard of influencers doing it.
I'm sending Ken Koniki masks, 5KD. DM me, please.
I'm importing noodles from Korea.
DM me for.
DM me for info.
I know of a distant relative who started we have a local dish here using grape leaves at base. We call it we call it grape leaves
with
and,
rice.
Yeah, and she struggled at the beginning. Like she could not sell that much because she wasn't famous. So she went
It's not your dish, but okay.
Hey, Syrian.
It is our dish.
We people
Keep your majboos. You can keep your majboos.
Keep your majboos, huh?
Guys in the Levant do not have a monopoly on grape leaves. We just import from there.
The entire Gulf is just rice and meat, and they name it different things.
Well, yeah, that's fair fucking enough. And we get our spices from India, and we steal food. That's our thing. We were always a trade center. What do you want from us?
So she struggled. She could not sell anything, and what she did is she mustered 800 KD, gave it to one very, 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 very famous Instagram celebrity, and she says to him, "Oh, this is my 800 KD. 800 KD has how much dollars? It's
multiply that by 3.
It's almost $3,000. Almost $3,000. She mustered that amount, gave it to that celebrity, very, very famous celebrity, and she made her an ad on his grape leaves, and God and behold, the phone calls are not stopping. She made quadruple, quintuple, multituple that amount of money in a snap. This is how much Instagram is. It's just make you
It's
so much money. Yeah.
It's a phenomenon. Wait. And there's a problem. All power to your cousin, but there's a problem. I don't know if she did it, but not most of these food Instagram channel things that make money off it. Most of them are not like certified, so you don't. There is no guarantee that their food is actually poisonous or not, or that they're using the right ingredients and all that stuff. Right? They're just selling food, and they're no everybody's okay with that pastry cake, and nobody cares. And to me, that's a huge problem. My auntie used to sell cakes, right? But she never did it on a level where people like order, and like she makes it on like on basically a business scale. Basically, her thing: I want to make cake, I want to improve, and getting more opinions is better. And once she refined that, she switched to soap. That's a topic on its own, right? But the idea is that there is no guarantee that cake or food is actually on consumer standards. At least a factory, when you get something from there, there are people checking in. There are health people showing up on daily basis, checking the restaurants, checking the things. There is quality control. And people are buying products way more on Instagram for disastrous prices, right? That are not certified. And they're doing it on a scope equivalent to a regular restaurant. That's a problem. But nobody's checking.
The problem is just the Instagram phenomenon became so much famous, and word of mouth became a thing, and people trust started being like a certificate. All right, I like this place. All right, I'm gonna promote it. It's like how I promoted you guys the Jitter, because I really liked it, but still it's a local business, not certified. It's not nothing. And one more thing, celebrities and influencers right now, when they promote a thing, even it's bad tasting, because that guy did it, it must be good. And one guy, one influencer on Snapchat, like promoted a couple of restaurants, and he recorded a snap saying, like back in the day, one restaurant invited me to taste their food and promote it, and they gave me about $4,000, and they came to me. I came to the restaurant. I ate their food. The food is shit. I told them, okay, sorry guys, I don't like your food. I'm not gonna promote it, and here's your money back. They smiled. They gave him $8,000, and they said, promote our food, and he did.
What a legend.
And he said it on Snapchat. He did not say the restaurant name, but he said, guys, the money is good. They gave me $8,000. Do you guys have anything to do? Like,
Everybody has his price now.
Everybody has his price.
Dude, you can't blame him that if that's his job, or even if it's just extra money on the side. That's a tremendous amount, and we saw it everywhere. We saw like look at IGN and GameSpot and those game places that review games. Like a Call of Duty comes out and it gets 9s, and or most importantly, that Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, right? That is horrifyingly bad, and I maintain my stance no matter whoever says otherwise, right? And it gets 10 out of 10 scores. 10 out of 10 by reviewers. You don't think there was payment on that from Nintendo to promote the Switch? If you don't think there's payment on that, you're stupid. This is not a masterpiece. This is just an empty game. That's what it was. This was like a promotion from Nintendo telling game developers, "Hey, we have a good hardware now. You can make games on it," right? And it got 10 out of 10, and people were buying it like crazy. And because the influencers said that it was good, everybody just agreed. And
As long as at the end it gave us Tetris 99, I'm happy.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah.
Man.
Dude, one more thing I want to talk about. I want to segue into this because we said influencers, and real quick, the fashionistas.
Oh
All right.
no.
All
Oh
right.
no.
All shit aside, the new trend is being vegan. All
Oh,
right.
that's the new trend. Okay.
Yeah, the new trend
Catching
in
up.
Kuwait, being vegan. The problem with vegans, and it's like it's factually impossible to beat, which is the amount of carb you're gonna consume. Because when you're vegan, there are a lot of things you cannot eat. You eat like greens and carbs, and no matter how much greens you eat, you cannot satisfy your hunger. So you put your weight on carbs. You eat more carbs and more carbs and more carbs, and God and behold, they became fat. Like gajillions of Kuwaiti fashionistas became fat because they started promoting vegan stuff. They're getting the money, but their face is growing twice as much.
I mean, the fucking
Dude,
They are-
my wife tells me like these people are getting so fat. Dude, I was like, okay, what's the point of watching a fashionista if she's not attractive anymore? Like, dude,
look at
the vegan diet is so broken. Like the amount of carb you consume a day is humongous. Like you're gonna be a London bus by the end of the month.
Yep.
It's scary, and fashionistas are gonna get uglier and uglier by the second because of this vegan shit.
that's
scary.
That's not bad though.
It's just an observation.
Yeah, like no, like
It's
that-
bad when they try to climb mountains and they die trying to prove themselves.
Oh yeah, it's also bad when they go to war zones to prove all humans are good and just, and then they die. But then that's just natural selection, man. It's fine.
Which I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah, it's like we need more of that.
We need please every female go vegan. You get uglier, and everybody go gay. Then. It's a leftist agenda.
That's the master plan.
Yeah, it's a leftist agenda. We
still
promote
can't-
veganism. Every female get ugly, and every man go gay. It's just a leftist agenda.
And Aziz exposed the left so hard in
Yes,
the stream.
yes. Aziz Shabiro, dab.
I think you're onto something. That way we diminish the
Single-handedly made
population.
Trump win again.
I should start the Islamic Shabiro, the
The
channel.
Islamic Shapiro channel.
No, no,
We're
no.
only fats and Sharia.
Yeah, just make videos
Facts
and
and
in
Sharia.
editing, speed up your voice.
No, no, you don't need to speed up your voice. Just talk normally, and then just increase the speed in post. That's all you need.
Yeah, I
Really.
guess.
That's what I just said, Trillion.
Oh,
You tasteless casual.
I don't know what you meant. You could have meant anything. Words are just words. They're symbols. Anyways. I want to mention that like this is like a final point because we do need to end this. Fashionistas are just a product or a result. They're not the symptom. I think the main symptom mainly is people not having the cognitive ability to expose themselves to better content, not because they're lacking in brain power, but they were never taught to think critically or to taste critically. Art, cooking, music, whatever, right? So because they don't have those abilities, they want somebody who can do that for them, right? and that's what people like the fashionistas are for, or celebrities. They wear the hot new thing, and now you know what to buy. They tell you about this new hot restaurant. Now you know what to eat. And it doesn't matter how good the food is. It doesn't matter how good the game is. It doesn't matter how good the music is. It doesn't matter how good the poetry is. Right? As long as it's a new hot thing. Because you cannot develop your own cognitive ability to do it because you were never exposed to the necessary tools, nor did you bother going searching for those necessary tools. You end up just following the trends like sheep. Right? And that's how it usually ends up. And whether it be veganism or whatever, like that's how it turns out to be.
Or you buy a $250 salad.
With
Or buy a
At
PC
Whole
instead of a
Foods.
fucking fashionistas and veganism. Like, okay, I want to be vegan for the poor animals that are being killed and stuff. Veganism doesn't work in Kuwait. Like, okay, they try to be vegan, they try to be healthy and whatever. They still show the fucking clothes, the fucking brands they wear. They brag, oh, there's this
snake
new
leather, right?
fucking snake leather, chinchilla fur, fucking cattails and whatever. You can't be more hypocrite than this shit.
No, it's the same argument for electric cars, right? Oh, electric cars will save the environment. Well, guess where electricity comes from? Electrical plants,
Exactly.
right? You're doing the same thing, right? But the extra step, like, creates a distance. I remember there was one guy. I was talking about one of my eventual dreams and things on my bucket list, which is hunting a deer and then, like, from scratch, going through the entire process of consuming the animal. So first hunting it, then cleaning it, and then cooking it, and all of that stuff, and then just going through the experience. And in my head, that's like, to know where I'm from, to know where this meat on my plate is coming from. I need to experience the entire process, right? And I was telling this to like somebody in college back in the day, just talking to them, and he was like, if I ever think about the animal while I'm eating the meat, I can't eat the meat. I like meat, but if I think that the animal got slaughtered because of it, right?
What did I just miss?
Somebody said it. Weakness is a sin. Somebody said it.
So they're okay with eating the meat, but if they picture that the animal got slaughtered to get that meat, they can't eat it anymore. Which is like, you sit there and you're like, what the fuck? Like, how sheltered are you? How sheltered do you need to be?
Dude, I saw a vegan post and somebody like, if meat companies did what Coca-Cola did, is having the cow picture and her name on it, on the meat itself, like nobody's gonna buy it. I was like, okay, I gonna find this one with my name on it, like Aziz named cow. That is gonna be awesome.
There's a scene in a
I'll
movie.
definitely enjoy that one.
There's a scene in the movie that I sent in the group, by the way. The movie is in Netflix right now. It's called Always Be My Maybe, which has Ali Wong and whatever, but it has Keanu Reeves. And this scene, they are in a restaurant and they have this fucking bundle or a meal, which is eat a piece of deer sous vide and whatever, wearing a headset, hearing their life cycle and hearing them being slaughtered and shit. And you can just see fucking Keanu Reeves crying for a moment, drinking wine, and just taking a piece of that steak. It's fucking funny.
Dude,
if I hear that, it's like I'm gonna eat it with passion. It's gonna be amazing. Dude,
No. You want to make somebody feel bad about eating meat? Go to a fancy steak restaurant, and one of my cousins did that, and it's a popular joke that we have, and it's painful, I swear. Like, as you're cutting through a steak, all he does, like as he eats it, I just ate $5. Here's another five. And he keeps saying that throughout the entire meal, right? It's an expensive steak, and everybody was enjoying it. It's like, God damn it, shut the fuck up! I'm trying to enjoy this.
He takes
more painful,
he takes a
showing-
bigger piece. This one's 10. Mm.
right? And it just every time your heart sinks when you realize that you're literally eating money. You know, now that's you need to be sheltered from that. All right.
Yeah.
That one kind of hurts though.
Yes, yes, it does. It hurts. But yeah, on that note, we do need to wrap up. So everybody, closing statements time. Okay, we start from Aziz. Let's go.
Oh, me.
No, hold
Me.
on. MVC.
Oh yeah, MVC. Sure.
NBC.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Nickabean. Was pretty
What's pretty active? Yeah, I was
pretty active this time, and he was even cause for one of the segues this stream with you, Trillion. Challenged a co-host specifically, so props to him, I suppose.
We also have new people coming in. We have my brother on the comment section, and we do have Wahhabi, you know yourself. Thank you guys for tuning in. We also have what's his name? John Harlem, which is a new guy. I don't think I saw that name before. So yeah, welcome guys. Thank you for tuning in if you're still here. But Nicky Bean definitely takes the cake on the MVC.
Ooh.
Yes, thank you for commenting. And now and congrats on your first MVC, by the way. I believe that it is. And now we can do shout outs and closing statements. So then,
Closing statement.
Aziz, get it started.
Yeah. It's me time. All right. Everything happening in this world is a leftist agenda. People, fight it. Subscribe to Darkrai Q8 and let's youtube.com/Darkrai Q8 and let's unite and find the fucking libtards.
Allahu Akbar.
Allah Akbar.
All right,
Link it in the chat.
Look at the chat. Yes, please, fast.
Okay, Babushka, go ahead.
I would like. Okay, I don't have a closing statement or whatever, but I would like to shout out Trillion's brother for roasting everyone as soon as entering and addressing some short facts. And I would shout myself out for streaming for 3 hours and no one showing up because that's my thing.
That's good. It's painful. I've been there.
Shout out to Mustafa for raising his hand and not talking.
Where'd he go?
Oh, I assume there are connection problems. He keeps going out and in. So
Yeah, he just left like my fucking dad did. And
Whoa,
yeah.
dude. Whoa, that's a little dark for the end of the stream.
no, let it pass. Let it pass. It's fine. It's fine.
No, does he
It's-
need help?
no,
We
it's a
must
joke. To me.
address this.
No, it's a fucking joke to me, by the way, because I let him leave. I just kicked him. Okay, whatever. And yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, Louis.
Alrighty then. Yeah, I'll let you do the outro this time. Shout out to all of us here for streaming for almost 3 hours and for bringing up very serious conversations, very, very serious conversations about the libtards and about eating money and about feminism. Very serious, life-changing, world on the brink topics.
true.
So in conclusion, subscribe to Dark Q Darkrai Q8. Link it in the chat.
I liked it in the chat.
So yeah, I tried to find something to say, but I don't really have anything. So get
Just-
the fuck out of here.
No, shout me out, you fucking bitch.
Shout out to Babushka for joining the stream just out of nowhere, nobody noticing. Shout out to Aziz for like changing the topic from Epic Games to women. Shout out
Every
to
time.
for raising his hand. Shout out to Louis for hanging out with a bunch of terrorists. And shout out to me for having apparently a sculpture head with a hovering fucking iPhone. Like, whoa.
iPhone.
It's the Milky Way.
I was waiting for you to realize that.
It's the Milky Way.
Hold on,
So-
What's that shirt? How about you stand up and show the
yeah,
people
yeah.
the shirt?
Italian terrorist shirt. Buy it. It's limited edition on goggalaxy.com/darkiq8.
Support the Patreon.
Go to my Patreon. If you subscribe $5 or more, you get a picture of me doing this with your name below it, and we'll call you. We'll shout you out at the end of each stream. We have no Patreon link. Just go donate to somebody random. We got you.
Go donate to ERB, or even better, go subscribe to Dark Q8. Link in the chat.
Link in the chat.
Link in the fucking chat.
And remember, we'll see you all at the same time. I can never do this part. Okay, same day, same time next week. You're right. Get out of here.
Yes.